Hey guys, it's Saturday here on Pagan Perspective. I am your host Brendan, and this week we are talking about holidays and celebrations and the parallels between those from different religions. So Yaka put in our question for this week, and very just simple, matter-of-fact sort of question, so I'll post that below, but it was really looking at the parallels between holidays, so such as like Christmas and Yule, as Valentine's Day and Beltane, and like Samhain and Halloween. So firstly, being someone from the Southern Hemisphere, we don't have the seasonal relationship with the calendar holidays that there currently is. For us, Christmas, which is meant to be this winter wonderland holiday, happens in the middle, well, the start of our summer. So there's no snow, there's no chestnuts roasting on a fire, that sort of thing. It's more hot and pools and barbecues and cold lunches and that sort of thing. But people still try to replicate the European sort of festival feeling lunch dinner meal sort of thing. Same with like Halloween here. It's not even autumnal, but it's becoming more of a thing, I think, reflecting more of a relationship with American traditional practices and that sort of thing. It was kind of, Halloween's become more of a thing here, and everyone gets dressed up and decorates, and it's the middle of like our spring, and so it's really not making a lot of sense as why we have so much out, and it's not very like, it's not like an autumnal harvest festival here, so it's really confusing. But that's why it's different for us. So we do celebrate the traditional like pagan seasonal holidays based on the seasons here. So Midsummer happens in the middle of, more like towards the end of our December, when it's, well, it's not really that midsummer at that point, but that's, yeah, when the longest day of the year happens, and you can see that shift, and the nights start to get longer, and the days start to get shorter. And then, yeah, things like Beltane, especially here around Brisbane, seasonally, the city starts to bloom with life. So the jacarandas, which are these beautiful purple flowered trees, all burst into bloom around that time of the year. Things like Yule in the middle of the year for us. So it could be seen as like Christmas in July, which is something that happens here. Yeah, it's more based around the actual cold time of the year as opposed to the summery part of it. So it's kind of that shift there. So it's really weird. Like, for us, I know for me personally, I'll buy, like, my Easter eggs at Easter to then save them up for a star so that I have them. And things like, yeah, Valentine's Day, I'll pick up things for, like, Beltane, which isn't, it's like another 6 months away sort of thing. I will say that there is a correspondence that, so we have here Anzac Day, which is a holiday that, it's not really, I say a holiday, but it's more like a Memorial Day to remember those that have served in wars that Australia and New Zealand have helped support. And it's very much it's a day about death and memory, and pride comes into it, as all that sort of thing. And it is usually about a week before Samhain. So for me, that kind of starts the Samhain cycle, is when that holiday happens. And so there is kind of like natural correspondences for us that happen with holidays that are already happening around our sort of time. But yeah, Easter being in the middle of our like autumn season when we're celebrating spring and fertility is really confusing. So I can see the parallels between the holidays, but for us to be celebrating them seasonally at that time would be confusing and strange. But I do know people that do, because they're being celebrated at the same time around the world, so they tap into that connection of energy between all that. But then there is that also a movement of us that all celebrate it to follow the seasons, so I guess it's kind of a balance with that. And there's definitely, yeah, the parallels I can see with like Samhain and Halloween. You have it is that honoring the dead and that relationship with all of that. And then you have things that, like Day of the Dead, which follows after, so really honoring and reverence for the ancestors and those that have gone before. So there is that kind of beauty that transcends and flows through all of that. And things like Beltane, which you have like all the May Day celebrations, and it's bright and colourful, and it's all about blessing your harvest, and so it's in that springtime kind of season, so it's really blessing your cattle and blessing your land, and that I always see it as the marriage to the land, so it is appropriate in that time that you're getting ready to start preparing for your harvest and the crops that are coming. And yeah, of course, midwinter and midsummer being at the points when it is the longest day of the year and the longest night of the year. So really, I can see that, like, when you look at images of Christmas, it's really about all the families staying together, and kids that want to stay up overnight so that they can see, potentially see Santa come deliver, sort of thing. And, like, I know with us for Yule, we usually spend the whole night, like, stay up all night and wait for the rising sun the next morning. So there's kind of that cute little follow through. And then, yeah, I think that's mostly what I can think about. I'm not sure, like, with the correspondence between Valentine's Day and Beltane, I kind of see them as very different individual characters. So I guess there's kind of correspondences of love and desire and all of that sort of thing, and the sexual energy that flows through. But I think it's much more than both of those, kind of equally, sort of thing. Yeah, I think that's it for this week. I'm sure there's been amazing things said in the other videos as well, so I'd suggest to go check all those out, and I will see you for our topic next week. But for now, much love and blessings. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Mwah!